welcome, it's great to see you. Today I'm collaborating with Trimcraft to show you how I'm using their latest collections. So today I'm using the Oh So Sweet paper pad. You guys must know by now that I am addicted to things with sort of candy themed patterns and all the pretty pastels. I love this collection so much. I'm just showing you a quick flip through of the paper pad. It's got some gorgeous finishes on some of the pages, so some of them are glittered, and then a few at the front are pearl, and they are absolutely stunning. So I'm just showing you the glitter there, and then when we get to the front I'll show you the pearly pages too. These items were very kindly gifted to me and I'm so excited to be working with Trimcraft. I thought this paper pad was perfect for my Christmas in July project this week. So we are going to be making little gift tags. I found the cut file on the Silhouette Studio, so I'll link that down below for you. I'm just really quickly showing you the designer of this paper pad. I love the illustrations, so I just had to share with you who designed them. These are my little stocking shapes. So like I said, I found these on the Silhouette Studio, so I will link them down below for you. Silhouette store, sorry, not studio. I cut them wrong on the Silhouette, so the bit from the pearly paper that you can see that will be like the fur bit at the top and the toe and heel part, that one hasn't cut through, so I'm going to have to cut those out with scissors, but not the end of the world. And then I have made these little tags to go onto our tags, so they add a cute little element and they say have a sweet Christmas, because I thought it just matched really nicely with all the cookies and things that are on the papers that I've chosen. I have decided to go a bit mixed media for these, so I've grabbed this glitter snow, I'm not sure if it's a texture paste or what, but that's how I'm using it, some stickles and Dovecraft glitter glues, some sequins, I've got some gorgeous snowflakes there, some little seed beads that I'll show you how I use those in a moment, this pretty lilac thread, and then scissors, a palette knife, and I think the stencils are the only other things that I grabbed. So the stencils that I've got, the heart one is from Bramble-Fox and the stars are from Echo Park, and I love both of those. I have got a snowflake one somewhere, but I've misplaced it, so I'm using these two for now. I choose this really pretty pink pearl stocking to work with first, and I think this matches the heart stencil best. So I go ahead and add some of that glitter snow paste onto here through the heart stencil. I'm concentrating the pattern where the other card pieces won't cover it, so I'm not bothering with the top bit where the fur sort of piece will go, or the toe cap or the heel part, because they'll get covered anyway. I don't often do mixed media, so this was a lot of fun to give something new a try, and it gives a little bit of interest to an otherwise sort of plain background. So this one I go with the hearts, like I said, from Bramble-Fox. And then I grab another one and go back in with the star stencil, because I really want to give both of those a go. We don't complete these ones in this video, we complete a different design, but I want to show you how I decorated these ones. And then I've left them off to the side to dry for 24 hours as the instructions on the bottle of the glitter snow say. I will decorate these ones and you can find them on my Instagram, which is where I share pictures of all of my latest makes and crafty things. So adding lots of this glitter snow paste onto this one. I have actually invested in the Mink reactive paste, so I'm excited to try that on one of these. I'll definitely grab that when it arrives and give it a go for one of these. Those stars are all finished, and then I'm just wiping everything with a baby wipe and putting it back where it's stored in the craft room. Next, I'm using one of these cookie patterned stockings, forgot the word then, and I'm just adding some glitter glue onto some of the elements of the cookies that are already printed on there, just to add a bit of interest. I just like it really, bit of added glitter, which is great for Christmas. Who doesn't love extra glitter at Christmas? And all year round really. So adding it to all sorts of places on those cookies, again avoiding the bits where I'm going to cover them with paper anyway. If you love this collection as much as I do, make sure to check out the description where you will find a discount code for you guys to use. Then I decide to cut out the white piece just to check that I've only left the parts that will be covered. I was thinking of adding some glitter glue to that cookie top right, and I wasn't sure if it would be entirely covered by this white piece, so I'm just fussy cutting around that because the silhouette wasn't on the right setting, didn't cut all the way through, so I'm going around it with my scissors, and it does cover that whole cookie, so I don't bother with that. Then for this one, I'm going all 𝓤𝓵𝓮𝓲𝓪 on you. I want to add some hand stitched sequins. So I've got these snowflakes I know I want to use, I've got my seed beads to attach them on, and I basically reach under my desk and pull out the first 2 bags of sequins that I can find. So I've got these gorgeous blue ones and the really pretty little pink ones. I check that they stack nicely because I'm going to be adding either a blue or a pink sequin with each snowflake, and they do, they look super cute. So I originally start off with this thread. I will save you some time and effort. It's too thick, not worth your time. So before I do that, I'm poking the holes where I want the sequins to be. I'm using my tweezers because they're really sharp, and I've got some foam pads underneath just so it will poke through nicely. This is the thread that I end up using, so this is the Coats & Clark iridescent thread. You can't really see the thread, to be honest, so it doesn't really matter what one you use. But I think this one works much better than the embroidery floss. I've gone through my first hole there and then I've just taped it at the back. I go through one of the snowflakes and a little pink one, then a little bead, and then back through the sequins to hold them in place. Then up through the next hole and do the exact same thing again. I think this time I use a blue sequin, do I? No, another pink one. But it's the exact same process for both. You're just layering your sequins, adding a bead, back through the sequins, and then up through the next hole. And I do that until I finish the pattern and fill all of the holes that I created earlier with my tweezers. You could definitely add all kinds of sequins for this. You don't have to just use 2 at a time. You can have loads. You could stitch on little foam, not foam, what's the word? Felt or 3D embellishments, whatever you want to pop on here. But I really love this stitched sequin look. So I'm adding a bunch of these. Now that they are all on there, I'm just tying it off at the back, making a few knots to make sure that it stays secure. And then I go back and cover that with sellotape because I want to make sure that it's definitely not going anywhere. If you're using these as gift tags and not just embellishments like I am, you probably want to add another plain stocking piece on the back there to cover all of that stitching and so that you can write your to and from note on the back. Adding on my little fake fur piece with some foam dots. I need it to be quite high so that it covers only part of the sequin that's up the top there. Then I go ahead and add the toe and heel pieces. Oh, maybe I add a tag first. So I choose my tag, then I decide to add some thread to that one. I want the lilac thread and I decide to add some of this iridescent thread as well, just to tie it all in. Pull it through, cut it to the right size, and then I grab some more of that iridescent thread just to tie it around the threads and hold them together. There we go, like so. Couple of knots so it definitely won't come undone. And I leave the long bits on there, I think they look pretty. Deciding where I want my little tag to sit as if it's hanging from the stocking. Obviously, as gift tags, you'll need to punch a hole in these so that you can add them onto ribbon or whatever to add onto your gift, unless you're just going to tuck them under the ribbon. If you do, you know, like the traditional parcel kind of wrapped ribbon and tuck it under there. I'm adding the toe and the heel pieces now. I was lazy, I didn't fussy cut them. I worked out that the card that I used was so thick that if I just pulled them forward, a bit like chipboard stickers, the front layer comes off. And it meant I didn't have to get my scissors out, so I went for that this time. I decided I want a bow on the Have a Sweet Christmas tag, so I get another piece of this lilac thread, tie it round where I tied the iridescent thread, and then create a bow. I'm also adding some double-sided tape higher up the threads so that when I poke them behind the fake fur paper piece, it will hold nicely. Sorry, I knocked the microphone there. I'm hoping it didn't make loads of noise. There we go, that's what I mean, so that I can tuck it behind and it will stay there nicely. Obviously I need to take the protective paper off of the tape, but I'm just checking where I want it. And I've added some foam tape to the back of the tag so that it will stay exactly where I've placed it. Just tucking that tape in between the two layers and poking it in with my tweezers, cutting off the little excess bits that are poking out, and that bit is done. So now I add the bow. I was a little bit quick off the mark there. I thought I added it at the beginning, but I don't. I decide whether I want a sequin there. I don't. I go for the bow. So tying this around and then just creating a little bow. I always create my bows bigger and then hold the central knot and pull them so that the loops are the size that I want. You'll see me do that now. And I mess with this for ages. Does anyone else do that? Does anyone else mess with bows? There we go. So I'm now looking at my Doodlebug shape sprinkles. I thought I wanted a little candy on there because it says Have a Sweet Christmas, but I didn't have any that were the right colour. So I end up using a little lilac heart from this Doodlebug set, which I think works perfectly. I put it slightly over one of the bow tails just to hold it in place, and that is this one complete. So I'll hold it up and show you a little bit closer. You can see all of the hand stitched sequins, the little extra Have a Sweet Christmas tag, the bow, the little purple heart. I think that one turns out really sweet. Then we are moving on to our second one that we will complete in the video. So this time I'm using one of the cookie patterned stockings, and this design is slightly simpler, but you must have a sewing machine. So that's why I did the two, one with a sewing machine and one without. This one I'm using a tiny bit of tape to hold the pieces in place because my sewing machine hates tape. It will get stuck and clogged and it's a nightmare. So I'm just adding these on very, very lightly, just so that they will stay in place while I put them through the sewing machine. Then I disappear off, and as if by magic I come back and it is all stitched down and in place. So I just went round the edge of each piece purely for aesthetic value. I really like how stitching looks, but I know that not everybody has access to a machine, so I wanted to show you two ways to create these pretty tags. Now the stitching is on there and I've cut off the extra threads. I want to add one of these miniature tags, so I've got another one that says Have a Sweet Christmas. This one is slightly higher. I've moved the text slightly higher and I made a range of them, so I've got all sorts of text placement on those. Added some foam tape on the back, stuck it down where I want it, and then I'm using my tweezers to poke a hole through both the centre of the tag, which, I mean, there's already a hole there, but make sure that there is, and all the way through the back of the stocking piece so that I can tie this tag on as if it was hanging there, you know, as a tag would. Used my needle to put the thread through, and I'm just adding a little bow on the top of this one as well. Messing with the loops, cutting my little tails to the length I want them to be. And then I know I want something on this tag as well. Again, I play with those little sequin candy canes. I don't like it. I have a look at these candies. I thought the pink one would go, but I don't love it. So I dip into my sequin box and I find this little Fimo clay candy, little lilac one, peppermint candy. And I decide to just stick that in the centre. And then either side of that I add a little glitter glue dot with my Stickles glitter glue. And that is our second one complete. So these are my two little gift tags. Again, if you're going to use them as traditional tags, you want to punch a hole so you can add them onto ribbon. But if not, you could definitely use these as embellishments or just tuck them under ribbon on your gifts as they are. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and crafting, and I will craft with you again soon. Bye!